Hello, everyone. I see the chat is already busy. That's fantastic. Make sure you like the stream. Guys, you need to watch this today. I have gathered the best information regarding how to come, how to get over putting stuff off if you are doing things later, if you are procrastinating, if you don't feel like you have enough motivation to get something done, if you feel low energy when there's a task in front of you. These The information that I've gathered for you today is all of the best information, all of the most important points of all the books on productivity, on all the classes on productivity, of overcoming the section that is about procrastination. And not only that, I will offer them to you for free in less than an hour, but I will also show you that now it's already been proven what works to overcome it. And I will make it very simple. I will explain it to you, every single one of them, every single one of these life hacks and techniques. I will explain it to you in a way that it becomes actionable so that you could easily use it in your life. But I will also tell you how to use AI as your companion to make this even easier than before. So you're welcome. Okay. Well, guys, on this stream, we're not talking about the things on the previous stream. Okay, so let's stay on focus. But thank you, guys. So thank you for being here, Jack. Thank you, Tree of Knowledge. Stephanie is here. Crypto is here. Unusual AI, Mohsen. Okay, guys. So give me if you have any questions regarding the topic today. That's what I'm going to be responding to. Right? I'm very excited about this because the wealth of knowledge that I'm going to be dropping here is a lifesaver. This is the life hack of all life hacks. This will be able to, using these methods, anything that is in front of you, no matter how big it is, you will be able to accomplish it. You will be able to get it done if you just apply these few principles. Okay, so let's get through them. I'm going to make sure that more people. Okay, fantastic. Amika is here as well. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I didn't see. Oh, my God. What am I? Chopped liver? No. Wait. I'm sorry, Amikai. I didn't. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Oh my, Amikai, you're so precious to me. I love you here in the chat. Thank you for being here. Sorry. Okay. I feel bad now. Oh, Stephanie is here. Stephanie is here too. Now I have to make sure that I mention everybody, or else people are going to get upset. All right, let's get through it. Let's get to the first step. And the first step is one of the most interesting ones. Again, every single one of them are really good, but the first tactic that I'm going to tell you is one of the most interesting ones. So let me tell you. First, what is the main resistance that you feel when you see a task that you don't want to do? It's usually the volume of it. It looks big, it looks complicated, it looks boring, it looks taxing, and all of these feelings that you have towards a task that you need to do, that you know you need to do, but you put it off, you do it later, you say maybe another day could wait, you don't feel like it, you don't have the energy for it. The main thing that we need to try to solve first, and I will give you other tips later, but the main thing that you're trying to solve first is the way that you look at what's ahead of you. Because you look at it and it looks like a big monster and it's huge and there's a lot of work, and we need to chop it into little pieces. So there's a big stone, there's a big rock, which is an obstacle in your way, which is the task that you need to do, is removing basically moving this rock, and it seems unmovable, it seems heavy, it seems too big. We're going to try to cut it in very small pieces, meaning that the first thing that you need to do, and guys, this works every freaking time. The first thing you need to do is, instead of looking at the whole task at its entirety, you need to forget all of that and just ask yourself this very important question. What is the smallest step that I could take for me to put me in action, to make a small progress towards the right direction in getting this thing done. And then once you discover that, then you're going to forget about the entirety of the task, and your entire life, your entire goal, your entire focus will become doing that one thing. Okay? Not the entirety of the task, just the very first step. And this is a magical thing that usually happens when you do this. When you do the first task in the direction of the task, when you put the rest, inertia will take care of the rest. So let me give you an example, right? If you think that you should go running more, don't think about going running. Think about just putting your running shoes on. If you think that you should be doing more yoga, don't think about doing yoga. If you have put it off, but you think it's something you need to do, just think like, no, I'm not going to do yoga. I'm just going to put the yoga mat on the ground. That's all. I'm not going to do anything else. That's it. That's it. If you want to practice more violin, don't tell yourself that I need to practice violin for the next hour or two. Just say, I am just going to open my violin case. I'm just going to take it out of the case. That's it. I'm not going to do this entire task. I'm not going to focus on doing the task. I'm just going to take it out. That's all I'm going to do. And just see what happens after. This has worked wonders for so many people. But again, now it's even easier. So basically, there's a huge rock. You try to move it. Forget the rock. I'm just going to do the first step. And here's the thing. Sometimes you don't know what the first step is, because the examples I gave you are simple examples. It's obvious. But sometimes we resist starting something because we don't even know where to get started. We don't even know what the first step is. And that ambiguity, that lack of awareness of how do I even do this, right? That makes it even more challenging to get started. If that is the case, do you know what the first step would become? The first step is going to be figuring out what the first step is. Then focus on that. Don't focus on the task. Say to yourself that I'm going to just figure out what the first step of this task is. Nothing else. And not even that. That's too much. Figuring out? No. I'm not going to figure out what the first step is. I'm going to just think about the task. Not even that. I'm just going to open a Google Doc, just writing the name of the task and just looking at the name of the task on my Google Doc. And then maybe once I do that, I could write another line. And then maybe just talking about the task. I'm not doing the task. I'm just describing the task. So the first step is just open a Google Doc and sit there. Don't do anything. If you're bored, well, write the name of the task. Then are you bored? Write another line about the task. And then if you feel the inertia, just keep writing about the task a little bit until you get some description. And then look at it, look at the task and some of the description that you've written and think, what would I start? What would be the first thing that I need to do? Just a small thing to get started in this. Something that takes less than 5 minutes that I could do that would put me just a little bit closer to getting this task accomplished. You can't figure it out? Well, here's the thing. So for example, let's say that you're trying to do some research, you're trying to write an article, you're trying to manage certain files, you're trying to create a system, you're trying to, I don't know what it is, okay? So the first thing you do is just focus. If it's not as simple as something that you know what the first step is, then make the first step opening a Google Doc. The second, then start writing. But don't think that I need to open the Google Doc and write. Just focus on, I'm going to sit and open a Google Doc. That's it. I'm going to do that. And then if you feel like it, start writing. And then take anything that you have regarding the description of the task that you need to get done, dump it into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever model you use, and say, this is the task that I'm trying to get done. Ask me, tell ChatGPT, ask me 5 questions about this task. So then you could give me advice. So based on ask me the best 5 questions that you could ask me to get enough information for you, for ChatGPT, for you to give me the best advice regarding how to get this task done. Right? When you do that, make sure you have the reasoning model on, not 4.0, but O3. Please understand that 4.0 is retarded. 4.0 is retarded. So switch it to O3. And then wait for it to respond. And here's what you do next. You don't read it. You don't read the answer. You just, unless you have a lot of motivation, then read it. Okay. But if we're talking about lazy people right now, people with no motivation, or the people who don't want to do, it gives you an answer. It probably is going to give you some charts or whatever, or it's going to give you some tables. I'm not going to bother going over that. We're trying to make things easy, not hard. Once it produces the results, you tell it like, okay, that's good and all. I didn't read it. You ask that to produce all of that just so that it has the information, the overall information of what is the best way to get this done. You weren't actually going to read it. That was for its own benefit. It wasn't for your benefit. It was for its own benefit. Then you do this. Then you say, okay, based on that, what is the next step? What is the thing that I could do right now that is the very next step that I could do that it takes less than, and depending on your energy level, you could say less than 20 minutes, 10 minutes, or 5 minutes, that takes less than 5 minutes that I could do that moves me one step closer to my goal. What is the one thing that will have the highest effect? What is the one thing that I could do in the next 5 minutes that has the highest effect in getting me closer to that goal? And then it produces a result. And then here's another thing. You don't read that either. You don't read that either. You know why? Because reading is hard. So you want to make it easier to read. Okay. I'm making this so easy for you guys. Okay. O3 talks to you, and it talks to you in a way that sometimes it's boring to read. So at that point, you switch, once it produces that result, you switch the O3 model to 4.0, to the non-reasoning model. And then you tell it this: explain that step to me, make it easy to understand and easy to follow, and get to the point. Don't waste my time. Say it. Don't waste my time. And then now, finally, it gives you something that is easy to read, easy to understand, it's short, it's to the point, and it's a task that takes less than 5 minutes, and it's the thing that will have the most impact in the next 5 minutes on getting you closer to the goal. And it's something very small. It only takes 5 minutes. And I can tell you, once you do that 5-minute one, you're going to feel motivated to go ask her, well, what's the next thing that I could get done now? Because this is so motivating, because you don't have to wonder. You don't have to wonder, oh my God, where do I even get started? Where do I even get started? You don't have to worry about that. You just let the AI keep telling you the next step, and you just keep following. If you feel bolder next time, instead of asking it that it takes less than 5 minutes, to ask it that it takes less than 10 minutes, so that maybe it's more flexible in what it suggests to you. This by itself is the key, what I just told you, to making a mountain of work cut into little bite-sized little pebbles. This is the way that you could shoo a mountain away in front of you. This is how you move mountains. You don't move the actual mountain. You move pebbles until the mountain is gone. I hope you understand how powerful this method is, because I'm excited about this. This is fantastic. This has I've been using cutting my work into small pieces that when I focus on the next thing, only the next thing. And this has made me be able to start things that I usually would put off for maybe days or even weeks. Anytime now that I want to do a giant task, I just get started. I don't wait because I know that all I have to do is just get the ball rolling with the smallest amount of with the smallest task from, like, every time I don't know what to do, I just sit, I open a Google Doc. And then for some reason, everything else just starts rolling after that. I just sit down and like, hey, let me just sit and describe what what I don't know. I don't want to start. Okay, just open a Google Doc, open an empty sheet is in front of me, just start writing. And now I used to do this before AI, because before language models. Now it's so great because I could dump my thoughts into ChatGPT and I could get so much out of it. And in fact, why even stop here? So let's go, now that we're working with our Google Doc describing what we're trying to do, let me tell you something even more powerful. Oh, Amikai saying, I thought that you bring the mountain to Muhammad or something stupid like that. Yeah. Yeah, again, not sponsored by Google. Yeah, I mean, if I was sponsored by Google, I would have said Gemini instead of ChatGPT. Anyways, now that we have a habit into just dumping our thoughts regarding what we need to do on Google Doc, why, well, don't that Google Doc that with that description of your tasks, I mean, and every time when ChatGPT gives you the answer regarding what is the best way to get this task done, don't let that stay in ChatGPT. Copy that and paste that into your Google Doc. And the Google Doc regarding this task obviously needs to have a couple of tabs. I mean, I love it that Google Doc now has document tabs on the left side. So one Google Doc could have multiple tabs. That used to only work for spreadsheets, but now we have that for Google Docs as well. So in the same Google Doc, open a tab and name it and put ChatGPT's answer regarding what is the best way to get that task done over there. And this is what we're trying to do now in the second step. The second step is the standardization step. The tasks that I usually am involved with, I need to come up with standards for it, so that every other time I'm trying to do the same thing, I just have to follow a step-by-step process based on what has shown works best previous time that I've done this. And every time I try to upgrade my standards using AI, right? So I'll take the method that ChatGPT gave me. So I'm trying to create a document that includes the processes, includes any templates that I need to use, all of them in one Google Doc. This removes barriers and it makes it's like a grease to the wheels of your machine that is your work. Every time, if you have a standard and every time you need to work, you have basically a standard operating procedure, then you feel so much less resistance next time you need to do something similar that you have done so many times, right? Because you have the step-by-step process there, and then you could continue to improve it. And let me tell you what you could do. Okay, so now that you know the best method, because you ask ChatGPT to ask you 5 questions, and then the ChatGPT has more context of what your work is about, and then it told you the best way, and it also told you the first step. Here's what you could ask it now. You could say, draft a standard operating procedure, a standard operating procedure template suitable for this task. And also, if you already have a standard operating procedure suitable for this task, and again, remember, it needs to have templates and processes, and you could keep upgrading the templates and the processes every time that you keep doing it. You could adjust it on Google Doc. And if you already have one of these, or if you want to improve it, every once in a while, the standard operating procedures that you have, you copy and paste it back into ChatGPT, and like, hey, this is my current standard operating procedure. based on new technology and based on new apps and based on the latest research on the best way of doing this task, how do you recommend I update my standard operating procedure? Do you understand how powerful this is? Firms hire teams of experts to be able to do this for them. And just this means that every time you're doing a task, you're doing it in the best way possible with the best knowledge using the best technology. Just by this. And not only this, you would be, I mean, now that I know that's what I have with regards to my task, I cannot wait to get started on my task. I feel no resistance. In fact, I'm eager. I'm eager to get to my desk because this is so much fun. I have gamified my work. And every time I'm like, it tells me what to do, and that's the next mission, and I get that done. I'm like, okay, what's next? And like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's do this. We can do this. Oh my God. I mean, if you want motivation, every once in a while that you ask it what's the next step is, you tell it, well, remind me how much we got done right now and give me a motivational point after that. You're like, oh, it will tell you. It'll tell you like, look, we have gotten this much done. Oh my God, this is crazy, right? You're high-fiving ChatGPT there. This is basically turning your work into a game, because you don't have to wonder about things. You could just, you get the order, you get you understand what the next commission is, and you just do it, and it's simple, and it's been explained to you. It's giving you the tools, it's giving you the best methods. You just have to follow it. And it's so much fun updating your document. Basically, like, it gives you templates, and like, well, obviously that's not going to work for my company, obviously that's not going to work for my situation, so you keep updating the template, or you tell it that if it made a mistake. By the way, so for people, let me actually mention this. I mentioned this in the previous stream, I need to mention it again. Anybody who is not getting the results that they want from ChatGPT, every time you get a result that is an answer that is not what you were hoping for, explain it in the reasoning model, explain to it what it got wrong, and then if it gives you an answer and it's still not good, explain in detail again what it got wrong again until you get the desired response. And then after you get the desired response, you need to tell ChatGPT to give you the prompt you should have given it the first time, so you didn't have to go through the 10 steps. So imagine you took 10 steps with ChatGPT to get to the desired result. Then once you get the desired result, tell ChatGPT, okay, this took me 10 steps. What was the prompt that I should have given you at the beginning so that I could have gotten this answer right at the start? And then once it gives you the prompt, study it so that next time you're better at getting ChatGPT to produce the good result that you want for you. Stephanie saying, I don't know why your channels are not bigger, Armin, actually. Stephanie thinks I'm giving such good advice. Well, thank you. And Tree of Knowledge is convinced as well. That's good. All right. So now let's go to another trick. Guys, these are gold. Okay. I hope you appreciate what I'm telling you. You're going to love this one. Right. So you guys have heard of this thing called the to-do list, right? But now I'm going to introduce you to a new list. It's called the not to-do list. Meaning that a lot of you are not very motivated to do the things that you need to be doing because you're doing so much other things that are holding you back, so many unnecessary things. So here's what you do. You start observing everything you do in a day. Everything that you do in a day, for a week, you keep documenting. I'm watering the plants, I'm cooking food, I'm watching a movie, I'm writing an article, I'm editing some videos, I'm washing the dishes, I'm walking the dogs, whatever. Everything, right? And then you don't have to organize it. Just every time you see what you're doing, I'm scrolling over Instagram, you just dump it on your Google Doc, another Google Doc. Everything you're doing during the day until it's you have covered almost everything, right? You dump all of that into ChatGPT, and here's what you're looking for. You're looking for a list of things, and not to-do list, the list of things that you should not be doing every day. And this is how you figure out you'll find them. You come up with 3 categories. You ask ChatGPT to sort all of your activities into 3 categories. You obviously have documents before you define your goal. You define your main goal in your life, what you're trying to achieve, right? And then there are 3 categories. Every single thing that you're doing that is helping you a lot into getting you closer to your goal. Things that are not helping you get towards your goal, but they're a matter of survival. They're a matter of life and death. You cannot eliminate them. If you eliminate them, you will not be able to live, right? And then the category 3 is everything that is left. Everything that is left will go into the not to-do list, meaning that they will become sins. They will become illegal for you to do. They are things that you would avoid at all costs. Meaning that watching movies, playing video games, scrolling just randomly on Instagram, going out for a party, you will just remove every single thing that is on this list. You will make them illegal for you to do, so much so that the only thing that is left is things that you need for survival and things that are moving you closer to your task. So you need to try to expand the not to-do list, so much so that the only thing that is left is basically survival and getting you closer to your goals. And in fact, if you do this, you will be so motivated to do the tasks that you have put off because there's nothing else to do. The reason why you're not doing the task like you should be doing because you have video games, you're scrolling on Instagram, you're doing some other random shit. If you cut all of those out, the thing that you actually need to be doing and you're not doing, you will be so motivated to do them because otherwise you need to just sit down and stare at the wall because you made so many activities illegal for yourself. So you have a choice. You could just sit there. There's nothing else to do. You could just sit there and look at a wall. You could look at paint dry. Or you could sit there and after a while, just for the sake of getting rid of this boredom, you will be so motivated to actually do the thing that you need to do because there's nothing else to do. Oh, look, Amika is saying, but there's so many anime that need to be watched, and who is going to watch it? Not me, if not me. Well, Amikai, you could do. I'm not saying don't watch anime, as long as watching anime is the most important goal of your life. The thing that you're trying to achieve the most, the thing that matters, the thing that you want to be your identity, who you are as a person. If that's an anime watcher, if when you're on your deathbed, you want to look back at your life and say, I am the person who watched a lot of anime, and that is good, and that is satisfy you, and that becomes the most meaningful thing that you have done in your life, then go for it. But if that's not that meaningful, if that is not the most important thing in your life, if that's not what you want to accomplish, if that is not your North Star, then every time you're doing something else than the thing that matters to you in life, just realize that you're betraying yourself because you're doing something that matters less to you than the thing that matters most in your life. No, Jack is saying this seems unreasonably restrictive. It's only unreasonably restrictive if you actually don't really think that thing that I'm telling you that matters so much in your life, if it doesn't matter, then obviously I'm not saying you shouldn't. It doesn't make sense to do all of these things. You should go and do all of these things. Okay, go watch anime, go play video games. I'm only talking to people who think that I have this thing that I need to achieve, and it matters more than anything in my life, right? This matters so much more to me than anything else. And if you have that priority, I'm only telling you to cut things that is not that priority. It makes sense. It makes sense. So even if these things matter to you, doesn't matter to you more than that thing, more than that other thing that is your your goal, the main goal of your life. Yeah, Stephanie's saying no offense, but I'm so happy that I can say I don't watch anime anymore. Sorry, but it's brain rot. Well, here's the thing, Amikai. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're watching anime, you're watching anime instead of working. I don't recommend that. Again, I remember in the previous stream I told you that, again, if your goal matters to you, if it doesn't, then do whatever you want. What you can do is use, when you have repetitive, not, you know cognitively intensive work that doesn't require a lot of focus, repetitive, boring, then you could have something in the background playing. As soon as you get to the type of work that is requires focus, you switch from that movie or that TV series or that anime playing to music, right? So if you really like anime, you could use it as the in your background for the type of work that is repetitive, boring, and doesn't require focus, so that it could help you get through those parts. That's how you could use it. What I'm suggesting that you should be against is basically not working, sitting down, and just dedicating some time of your life to anime. Again, do that if that matters so much for you to you. That is like a huge part of the purpose of your life. But I'm saying if your purpose of life is something else, obviously it makes sense to cut other things. If you have a great purpose in your life, every time you're spending doing other things, you're basically saying, well, it's not that great actually. Okay? That is not that as great as I suggested before. And again, it used to be difficult for people to come up with a not to do list because they had to think about all the things that they're doing that need to cut out. But now it's easier because you could just tell AI everything you do in your life and then ask it to cut it into 3 pieces. This is how you create a not to do list. Let me see where we're at. Okay. Next tip. Okay. Next step is a professional identity. All right. So let me actually tell you where this comes from. A lot of people who don't do the work that needs to be done and they feel some resistance into getting started is because they haven't built a habit regarding doing that. And some people try to there are different techniques and try to build a habit so that it becomes so easy. You know the process, it's just second nature. It becomes so you have done it so many times that every time you get started, you just start rolling without even thinking. You just get in the flow right away because it has turned into a habit. So that's one level higher than people who haven't turned a work into a habit. But there's a level above people who have built habits around certain tasks, right? The level higher is the identity level, right? So the most resistance is by people that you feel towards the most resistance that you feel is when you don't have a habit built around that task. But then even if you have a habit, it's still work. It's still work that you need to do, but it just comes naturally when you want to get started. The highest level is when you go from habit to identity. What does that mean? Identity means that work is now completely a part of you. It is you. It's part of how you define yourself. That work becomes you. That work is you. I mean, you could see that among many people who have um, traditional jobs already feel that. For example, doctors, you know, they see themselves as doctors as part of their identity, right? Or a lawyer, a professional lawyer, see them being a lawyer as part of their identity. So what you want to do is whatever work that you need to do that is important, that is getting you to your goals, you need to turn that into your identity. Meaning that, you need to see yourself as an accountant, as a lawyer. This is who I am, a lawyer, a trainer, okay, advisor, a consultant in this topic, an architect, whatever your job is, whatever your task is, you're trying to copy the professionals. Whatever you're doing, like if you are building a business, you have to say, I'm a gym owner, I'm a salon manager. This is who I am. This is me. I do this. This work is part of who I am. So you're trying to create a professional identity to treat your work. If you're working from home, if you're an entrepreneur, for people who have traditional jobs, this is easier, right? Because they get at some point, that's how they introduce themselves. That's how they see themselves. But if you're an entrepreneur, if you're building a business, or if you work from home, you have to actually build this identity. Especially if you build this identity, then your job, because think about it, people who have traditional jobs, when they need to go to work, there's no other choice. Like when they need to start their work at, for example, 8 a.m., they cannot say that, well, today I'm not feeling like it. If you are a lawyer, that if you're an accountant for a firm, you have to start your work at 8 a.m. There's no, I don't feel like it today. So you need to copy that identity for the work that you do from home or as an entrepreneur. You need to say, I am this person. This is what I am. This is who I am. I need to behave like somebody who has this job. I need to behave like a professional with this professional identity. Meaning that the time that I set for me to get this work started, there's no option. I cannot say I don't feel like it, because your mindset is just like a lawyer that needs to start working at a specific time. You cannot put this off, because this is your job. This is what you do. If you said that if you on your calendar, it says that you start at 8 a.m., you start at 8 a.m. as if you're working for a firm that will fire you if you didn't. You treat yourself like a professional. So with that identity comes a feeling of structure and accountability. And the role definition, so you define your role clearly, you understand who you are, what am I. And again, when we say what am I, we have many different identities. We have group identities, we have family identities, and we have individual identities. Like, for example, family identities, you might say, I'm a father, I'm a husband. Group identities, you might mention your nation. You say, I'm Israeli, I'm Canadian, I'm Iranian. But when it comes to individual identities, one of the strongest individual identities that you could develop and have and feel it is your professional identity. And you need to see yourself as that person. And when you do that, your work doesn't become just work. Your work becomes part of who you are. And that resistance, you wouldn't even feel it anymore, because you're doing what that person would do. Like a doctor, for example, when they're doing surgery, they don't feel a resistance like, oh, I'm not going to do. They're doing what a doctor does. This is who they are. When they're doing surgery, that surgery is part of their identity. So when it becomes part of your identity, that resistance will fade away. This is even more powerful than a habit, because a habit still requires some motivation for you to get started, but the resistance is lower. When it comes to an identity, building an identity regarding a profession or a task, then there is no resistance, because in fact, the resistance is the opposite. If you build an identity around a certain set of tasks or a certain profession or what you do, then the resistance you feel would be in stopping of doing the tasks, meaning that somebody has to come stop you. You don't need encouragement to start. You actually need encouragement to stop. when a certain type of work becomes your identity, your challenge will turn into, where's my off button? How do I switch this off? Like you need to actually physically get exhausted enough so that you go to bed. That's how it works. When something becomes such a huge and important part of your identity, your problems will become the opposite. Somebody needs to actually come and shut you down for you to go to bed. So when it comes to how to use AI for this, you could tell AI to act like a career coach, for example, and come up with a mission statement to capture your role based on the task that you have, and maybe come up with a professional, like, even if I don't know, based on what I'm doing, I don't even know what I call this profession. Maybe you don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're like starting a gym as a business, or you're starting a consulting firm, a solopreneur, you're a one-man consulting firm, or whatever firm that you're starting. Okay, you're like, okay, what am I even called? Ask ChatGPT, what is this role called? What is my name? Ask it for 10 names, see which one is the coolest one, which one resonates with you more. And then once you find your role, once you find the role, the identity that you have picked for yourself, then you can tell it to list the top 5 responsibilities for a successful person in that role, and then phrase it as, I am the person who, and then it puts the statement. Maybe ask it to give you 5 statements like that. See which one resonates with you. I am a person who, and then here AI it needs to put the response 5 different responsibilities of a successful person in that field. So now you have a name for the role that you have, and then you have 5 statements of what is somebody successful in this role does. And you could read those as your chant, as your prayer, to build that identity for yourself. You say it until you believe it. You keep saying it, you keep thinking about it until you believe it. I'm a person who does this. And then when you sit, think about it. When you next time you sit to do that work, you can, when you know what identity does? What identity does, it creates a third eye outside of your body, looking from outside at you. That's what an identity does. And what you want to do is you want to be happy with what you see. You want to be happy with what that third eye sees. That's the whole point of an identity. And once you create that third eye, watching you work, just watch the motivation that you have when you enjoy just watching yourself from that third perspective, getting closer to that identity that you want to be. I mean, when you say, I am a person who this, or this is my role, then you cannot stop working because you feel like you have let yourself down as a successful, I don't know whatever that role is. So that's another tip. I hope you appreciate that. That's a very, by the way, guys, these things have been studied, and these are the ways. Like, this has been discovered. Everything I'm telling you have been discovered as the way to fight procrastination, lack of motivation, lack of energy. All I'm doing is giving you AI tools to just make it easier. So let me actually do lack of energy next. Lack of energy is simple for most people. Most people, if you do what I'm telling you, your lack of energy will go away. So we did procrastination, right? Laziness, everything I told you, we'll get rid of that. Let's do lack of energy, and then we'll also do lack of motivation. So let's do lack of energy. Lack of energy is easy. And again, you might not believe me that this helps, but trust me, most of you, if you do this, it will solve your lack of energy problem. And it's very simple. For most of you, if you do these three things, if you get 10,000 steps a day, drink more water, sleep more, after a while, you'll feel like you have so much energy that you would not know what to do with. If you do this, the only exhaustions that you're going to feel in your life is going to be exhaustion from working so hard. You're never going to feel exhausted at the beginning. You're only going to feel exhausted after hours and hours and hours of work. You don't need caffeine. In fact, caffeine messes your sleep. So caffeine is a good energy boost in the short term, but long term, it messes up your energy because it reduces the quality of your sleep and the quantity and quality of your sleep gives you more energy long term, more than caffeine. This is why I drink decaf. If I drink coffee, I drink decaf because my sleep has become ever since I give up caffeine, the quality and the amount of sleep I get has become so much better. And also the 10,000 steps that you do every day makes you fall asleep easier as well. You tire your body and you fall asleep much easier. And just the steps itself also boosts your energy for some reason. And drinking more water. Try this, and after a while, tell me if you still have lack of energy problem. Because for vast majority of the people, lack of energy will go away. I see Nima. So laziness fixed, lack of energy fixed. Now let's do lack of motivation, and this is going to get intense. Okay, so when it comes to motivation, you thought this was intense. Now we're only getting started. Now this is the most extreme one. It gets emotional as well, right? So when it comes to motivation, the best way to get motivation, the best source of motivation is to have a goal worth doing everything for. And that a goal worth doing everything for needs to be defined, needs to be discovered, and you need to have a constant reminder on regarding what you're doing this all for. And let me actually tell you the nature of the most powerful and the best goals. The most powerful goals that gives you the highest motivation are usually about the people you love. And that includes yourself, right? So on this channel, we talk about the goals. We categorize them into three categories. We put them in three categories: health, wealth, and love. And I also explained that the ultimate goal is always love, and we need health and wealth to be able to achieve love. And by love, the best expression of love, the best way of satisfying our desire, our need for love, is to get to a point where we could take care of the people we care about the most. And for that, you need your health and you need wealth. And so basically, the highest motivating goals in your life starts by first identifying not your goal, but by the people who you love the most and what you want to do for them and what you want to avoid happening to them. And also realizing that I need my health and my wealth to be able to do that. Those are the most powerful goals. And if you don't have anybody, that becomes you. Okay. Even if you don't have anybody that you love in your life or loves you in your life, then you become the person that you focus on your love on if there's nobody else, right? And then you try to imagine the best thing, and this is where it gets tough. You try to imagine the best things that could happen to him that you're responsible for, and this is the hard part. The absolute worst things that could happen to them because you failed them, because you didn't take good care of them, because you didn't do your part. And it's important to identify these people, because once you identify them, you also have to start ignoring the opinions of everyone else about your path and what you're doing, and whether or not you are, unless it aligns with those other people, serving those other people. Meaning that every time somebody comes and gives an opinion regarding, oh, you're doing this wrong, or I used to respect you, but now I don't, or oh my God, you haven't achieved this, okay? Like childhood friends, colleagues, maybe people in the comment section on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, maybe even your parents, right? It's not their opinion. I mean, they might be in your list of the people you care about, but it doesn't, their opinion is not what you approving. Their opinion is not what you're going for. You doing the things that make you able to take care of them is what you're going for, right? So anyone's opinion regarding you, if if you actually start chasing their approval, like let's say somebody in the comment section says something about, I don't know, your views, or somebody says something about you not getting as, you're not having as high of an income, for example, as the people that were your graduated at the same time as you, okay? Or somebody saying this sucks about the way that you do this, or oh, I respected you more when you did that. So because we're social animals, when people give negative or positive opinions to us regarding how good we are or how bad what we're doing is, we instantly want to prove them right if it's positive, or prove them wrong if it's negative. We have this desire to show that they're wrong, that they are, that I'll show them, I'll do that, I will go do that thing to get that thing so that they could see that they are wrong about me, right? But every time you do that, you have to understand that you have decided to serve those people instead of the people that are most important in your life. The people, and this is why it's so important to identify them. Who are the most important people in your life? Because the only metric that matters when you discover who are those people is whether or not what I'm doing is getting me closer to me being able to take the best care of them. And if instead of that, I am doing work, or I'm finishing tasks that serves me proving those people wrong because they had a negative opinion, I'm losing my North Star. I'm basically getting off track. And this is very dangerous. You could spend hours and days and months and sometimes even years doing work, maybe even productive work, that serves to prove certain people wrong that don't matter because they're not in that list of people that are the most important people in your life. I mean, sometimes their opinions are right, and if you listen to them, it will get you more in line with achieving the goals that you have set for yourself. But many times it's not, and you're basically serving them instead of serving the people you love. You're living for them. You're working for them. Just remember the people, the opinions that you care about, the people with those opinions are the people that you're working for. So every time somebody says something negative and you try to waste some time to prove them wrong, just understand that that person you hate now, you're working for that person. You're working for them. You're spending time to try to get the metrics to show so that hopefully they'll see and they realize how wrong they were about you. They are your boss now. You are their employee. They have set the path, they have decided your path for you. But instead, if you focus on the people that I mentioned, you have to identify who are these people that I care so much about. And just every time that you're getting off track, you need to imagine their smile, a smile that you were responsible for because of the things that you accomplished, so that you were in a position of power to do the things required to give them that smile. And you also need to imagine them in pain and agony because of you not doing the work that is necessary, and you getting to a position where you cannot, that they need you and you cannot take care of them. You could imagine them getting cancer and you, for example, not having the money to take care of them or putting them in a better hospital. Or you could imagine them dreaming of going to a certain place and you not being able to afford taking them there. Or imagine that you didn't take care of your health, for example, and you're sick, and now they're going to have a heartbreak because you're not there with them anymore because you didn't take care of your health. You want to be in the best position. Every time you feel lazy or lack of motivation, you just need to remind yourself who you are doing this for. And every time that I don't do the work necessary, I am allowing my laziness to get me closer to that image of them in absolute misery because of my failure. That image, running away from that image and running towards that image where you are actually doing things that makes them smile more often, more days, you're creating more positive days for them. Running towards that is the best motivation. Every time you feel lack of motivation, just remind yourself who you're doing this for and how scary it is. Create that demon so that you could be running away from that situation where they are suffering because you didn't do the things that was required. There's no more powerful motivator in life than that, than the people that you love and the necessity for you to take care of them. That's actually the hardest thing to do, because imagining the things that I'm telling you to imagine are horrible. Like, you have to imagine the worst case scenario and then ask yourself, am I doing everything that I possibly can in my life to make sure that that does not happen? And if I'm not, why am I not doing that? If that doesn't solve your motivation problem, I don't know what else will. No, thank you, Mohsen. All right, let me give you one last powerful tip. And this is a good one. And guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. This channel is very, very helpful. If you keep watching my streams, like the life hacks and the tools that I give you are lifesavers. I mean, people who have been following this channel for a while, they tell me how valuable these insights are. Yes, that's an Iran flag, Dr. Penguin. All right. Let me go to this last. This is a simple one. We went from something very intense to now something a little bit more simple, but also very powerful. This is the most simple trick in the tools that I'm giving you. This is the easiest one to use, but it's also extremely powerful. In fact, I've been using this and I cannot believe how such a simple trick actually gets you through so much. Okay. It's called the 5-minute rule. Anybody knows the 5-minute rule? Has anybody heard of this? So it's very simple. When avoiding a task, let's say basically the entire point of the stream is for you guys to just get started, right? So whenever there's a task in front of you and you don't feel like starting it, here's what you do. You tell yourself that I will just do the task for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. And if I still don't feel like doing it, then I'll stop doing it. Here's what happens. And this is so magical. Most of the time, when you get started, by the end of that 5 minutes, you don't feel like you don't want to do it any longer. You feel like you want to keep doing that. It builds up momentum. It's like inertia. More than 90% of the time, every time that I felt like I didn't want to do a task, when I just got started, I just told myself, just do it for 5 minutes and then you could quit. When I got started, the momentum was built and I just wanted to keep going. That is such a powerful tool. Just try it and tell me. Try it. You will come and tell me, like, oh my God, Armin, this is a magical technique. I cannot believe why people didn't tell me about this. Just tell yourself, I will do this for only 5 minutes. I might not want to do this work, but I can do 5 minutes. 5 minutes is nothing. And just see what happens. You will get so much more done in your life. In fact, let me actually tell you something. When you're in the middle of a work and you feel tired and you want to take a break, you want to stop and you want to take a break. Before taking a break, tell yourself, okay, I will take a break, but as soon as you feel like you want to take a break, tell yourself, let me just continue for 5 more minutes. And then after 5 minutes, I will take a break. If you do that, the feeling that you need to take a break will go away within that 5 minutes. Most of the time, during that 5 minutes that you say, you know what, I feel like I need a break, let me just continue for 5 more minutes and I will take a break. So many times, by then that 5 minutes, you just want to keep going and you don't have that desire. You shouldn't give in when you feel like you need to take a break. Don't give in to that need right away. Just see if it's going to still be there 5 minutes from now. This is such a powerful key to opening hours of nonstop work. You're welcome. You're welcome. Guys, you need these live streams. You have no idea how powerful these tips are. You need this channel. You need these live streams. Please make sure you tell other people. These are, in 1 hour, I give you hours and hours worth of productivity hacks and procrastination courses, all of them for free, packed into 1 hour. You're welcome. Make sure you like the stream. It's free. It's not actually free. It costs you a like. These streams cost you a like. So pay up, pay with a like. It's pretty affordable, actually. All right. I hope some people will recognize how powerful these tips are. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to head out. This was fun. I enjoyed talking to you guys. I love this community here because it's a smaller channel compared to our other channels. And I get to look at more of what your comments are. Oh, yeah. Afshin is saying, very good technique. Well, thank you, Afshin. I appreciate you being here. And Jack is saying, thank you for the stream. Oh, Jack, remember last time you asked me, what is your goal? I think I answered you today because last stream I said, like, I will tell you next time. You asked me, what is your goal? Yeah, my goal is to be able to be in a position where I have the most resources and ability to take care of the people I love. That's my goal. And I think that's a good goal. Oh, Stephanie saying, are you going to leave this up, Armin? Yeah, of course. All the live streams will remain up. Why would I take that away from you? Oh, Nima saying, thank you, Armin, for being Armin. Well, thank you. Oh, Stephanie saying, that's my goal too, Armin. Wow. Okay, yeah. Jack saying, okay. Jack, what do you think? I think it's a very good goal. I think it's the most powerful goal. Unusual AI as well. Same. Guys, I'm gonna go, but you guys are so much. I like you guys, so that's why I have a. This is something that I need to work on. I don't want to end the streams here because I like to chill with you guys. All right, guys, I'm gonna head up. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking the stream, and I'll see you again tomorrow, same time. Okay, same time. Bye. Mwah.